Welcome to the session number 6, Formulating and Evaluating Strategy. Chapter number 6 will be covered here. Right. Before moving to the topic, I would like to remind you the steps we have covered up to now in the rational model. At the beginning, we identify rational model as a guideline for our subject. So, within our subject we are using rational model to formulate the strategy for an organizations. In there we identify several steps. Up to now we have covered few steps identified in the model. Now I am moving to another steps identified within the model. If I summarize what we have discussed up to now, so at the beginning we discussed about vision, mission, values, goals, objectives and targets. Mission, values, goals and objectives and targets. Actually in session number 1, chapter 1, we cover this. Chapter 1. Then we look at about internal environment under position analysis, internal environment. Then under environmental analysis we look at about the external environment. The objective of position analysis is to identify strength and weaknesses. Objective of environmental analysis is to identify opportunities and threat. To analyze internal environment, we discuss few model, we discuss value chain, resources and competency analysis, Then we discuss about benchmarking also here. Under the environmental analysis, we discuss special analysis to analyze the macro environment, then 5 forces to analyze the industry we have, to analyze the portfolio, we discuss about PLC and BCG metrics. Actually, if you remember, chapter 2 cover this, chapter 3 cover position analysis, then we discuss about the corporate appraisal, SWOT model were used to combine or the merge the result obtained from both internal environment analysis and the external environment analysis. Actually, chapter 5 cover this. In between we discuss about ethics and CSR also. That is some of the aspects we have to look at when you are formulating strategies under chapter 4. Up to now we have done this part. Right. Now I am moving to chapter 6. You know, in the rational model, the next step is strategy formulations is the next steps. Strategy formulation. So, chapter number 6 will cover that formulating and evaluating strategy. We look at about this part. So, first of all, we look at about the strategy formulation aspects under that. So, here step number 6 formulating and evaluating strategy. So, now we are looking about the formulating strategy part, formulation of strategy part. Under that actually we try to cover two things. First of all, we try to identify different strategic alternatives we can identify as possible strategy which can be applied for the organization, strategic alternatives. Then from these different strategic alternatives, we try to identify the best alternative by evaluating them. So, evaluating strategies. So, if you look at the topic name is formulating and evaluating strategy. Under this formulating part, here your syllabus has suggested some model you have to familiar, right. You have to learn those model, right. So, after learning those model, right, then within the real environment, within the real organization environment, you will be able to apply them in practice. That is the purpose, to get an idea about different strategic alternative organization can apply. Your syllabus has suggested to cover two main strategic options. One is to discuss about the competitive strategies. Under these competitive strategies, your syllabus has suggested to learn three strategies: Michael Porter's generic strategies, then Bowman strategy clock, then third one blue ocean versus red ocean strategies. Then in addition to that one, there is a fourth one also. Even though here we have identified under the competitive strategy, that can be identified as a group level strategy, or in other words institutional strategy also, that is ANSOP, product market based strategies. Then we have to discuss about the alternative strategy options also. Here mainly actually we look at about the game theory will be considered under that. Institutional strategy, we are not going to cover up that one. Institutional strategies are corporate level strategies, right, that can be considered here, but we are not going to discuss them actually. Institutional strategies. Right, like mergers, acquisitions, these are corporate level strategies. Right, here so we try to identify different strategic alternatives organization can apply in practice. Then the next thing is how to select the best strategy. How to select the best strategy will be identified under the evaluation of strategy part. Your syllabus has suggested two models for this purpose: 7S model and a SAFE model. 7S model and the SAFE model. SAFE means suitability, accessibility and the feasibility criteria. Right. Now you have idea this formulation strategy part. So, your chapter number 6 will cover this area. This area here name is formulating and evaluating strategy. This is chapter number 6, right. So, we will go through the topic, the content. These are the content we are trying to cover. Topic number 1, formulating strategy at the business level, formulating strategy at the business level. Then generic competitive strategies, the strategy clock, product market strategy, blue ocean and red ocean strategies. Actually, in relation to a single entity, we are trying to identify the competitive strategies under 2, 3, 4, 5, right, 2, 3, 4, 5. We try to identify competitive strategy for single entity. Then topic number 6, competitive strategy is based on market position, that is alternative way of looking about the strategy. Right. Number 7, strategy behavior and competitive market game theory. This game theory is connected with the number 6. The number 8, we try to discuss the link between strategy and the culture. Number 9, evaluating and recommendation of strategies for SBUs. Right. So, under that we will look at about the 7S model and the SAFE model. Right. From organizational point of view, you can make 3 strategic choices. Now, what are 3 strategic choices you can make? One is competitive strategies, second one is product market strategies, third one is institutional strategies. Competitive strategies, what is competitive strategies? This is related to a single entity, the strategy you can apply to get a competitive advantage that determine how you complete, right. For an example, you can use Michael Porter's generic strategies here. You can decide whether you are going to apply cost leadership or differentiation in the marketplace to obtain a competitive advantage. Then product market strategies, determine where you compete and the direction of growth. For example, SL4 can be used here. Right. Then institutional strategies, this is a group level strategy, this is a corporate level strategy. These strategies normally determine the method of growth. Here you can determine what type of strategy you apply to achieve the growth for the organizations. Example, it can be a merger, it can be a joint venture, new investment, acquisitions, franchising. Those are some of the options you have. But in this syllabus, we are not going to look in about this. We are not going to discuss institutional strategies, that is out of our syllabus, right. That will be covered in your final case study paper. Right. So, in our syllabus, we are going to discuss how can we determine a strategy for a single entity. Right. In that scenario, we look at about different theories we can apply. One is Michael Porter's generic strategies, then Bowman's strategy clock, blue ocean, red oceans. Right. Then ANSOP also will be considered, but ANSOP can be identified under institutional strategies also if you want. Right. Look at the PowerPoint slide. Strategy formulation at the level of the SBU, the business level is concerned mainly with decision about product and market. So, he will take here we will discuss what are the decision we can take in relation to product and market. Right. Then Michael Porter's generic strategies, very popular model. Michael Porter's generic strategies. Porter's generic strategies. Right, look at the name given here, generic strategies. Generic means common. Look at about these Michael Porter's generic strategies. These strategies can be used in any industry. Or in other words, so industry will not be a matter here. These strategy can be commonly used in any industry. So Michael Porter's has identified three main strategies, actually two main strategies, cost leadership and differentiations. Then based on the market cover, he identified the third strategy, that is focus strategy. If you look at about the Michael Porter's strategies, he tried to identify two different market. One is broad market, other one is narrow market. At the same time, he focused on two areas. One is cost, low cost. Other one is the uniqueness of the product. Uniqueness of the products. Low cost and the uniqueness, those are the two areas he considered. Based on this, he say if an organization try to produce a particular product at lowest cost and try to offer the good at the lowest price in a broad market, that strategy was identified as cost leaderships. Under the cost leadership strategy, you are trying to become the lowest cost producer in the industry. When you are the lowest cost producer, you can offer the good at the lowest price to the marketplace. That's the advantage you are going to have. Then, if you are trying to offer a unique product to the broad marketplace, that strategy was identified as differentiations. So, in there what you are trying to do is, you try to make your product unique in the marketplace from the other product available in the market. For example, you are trying to offer a high quality product to the marketplace. By offering high quality product, right, you try to communicate to the customer that your product is better than the other product available in the market. In that scenario, customers may be ready to pay a price premium to buy the products. These are the two main strategies actually, cost leadership and the differentiations. But if you are trying to apply the two strategies in a narrow market, or in other words selected marketplace, right, so that is called third strategy, that is focus strategy. Under the focus strategy, you are trying to cover only a small portion of the market. That small portion is normally called as niche. So, within that you can cover two strategies, one is cost focus, other one is differentiation focus. cost focus and the differentiation focus. Cost focus mean you are offering the good at the lowest price in the selected marketplace. Differentiation focus mean you are offering a unique product in the selected marketplace. These are very popular strategies, very popular strategies. What are the example on each? So, what are the example for cost leadership strategy? For example, Maruti car. If you look at about the Maruti, you can find Maruti in many countries. So, what they try to do? They try to offer economical vehicle to the people. Uniqueness, Toyota. Their price is little bit high. Right? So, but their product is high quality one. That is an example of differentiation strategy. Cost focus. Budget airlines. Because budget airline, they are not covering many countries, they are operating small countries, but they normally offer the good at the lowest price. Budget airlines. Differentiation focus. What about BMW? Our vehicle is so very unique, only cover selected people, rich group is covered, BMW vehicles. Differentiation focus. Actually, if you look at about these two strategies, so it looks like this. Say for example, so I will take some price range here, 12, here 10, we will say 8, we will say 5, 0. Suppose if you look at this one, if you are applying cost leadership, say your cost will say 8, will say firm A applying cost leadership, say this is will say others, other players, say this is firm B. Look at firm A, cost is 8, others cost is 9. Now your product is sell at 9, others product is sell at 10. So you also enjoy 1 rupee margin, right? This is cost leadership. Firm A is applying cost leadership strategy. How they apply cost leadership strategy? Their cost is 8, but others cost is 9. So they add 1 rupee and sell at 9, lowest price, good is sold at the lowest price. Other players cost is 9, their product is sold at 10, their price is higher. Through this you get advantage. But if you apply the differentiation, that is a different scenario. If you apply differentiation strategy, in there your cost will be little bit high. For example, your cost will be 10, right? Because for the uniqueness you have to spend a lot of money, right? But now you are selling the good at 12, right? You enjoy price premium. Customers are willing to pay price premium. See, firm B price is higher than everyone in the marketplace. Right. Now, how can we apply cost leadership strategy? To apply cost leadership strategy, our cost should be the lowest. How can we reduce the cost? What are the ways we can use for that purpose? There are few ways you can use. This is very important one. In many exam this was tested. So, in other words, here we try to identify some of the internal factors which should be exit to apply cost leadership strategy. So, what are the ways you can apply to reduce the cost? One is economic of scales. If you enjoy economic of scale, then you are in a position to reduce the cost. Later we will discuss what is economic of scale. Then another one is you can use the latest technology to improve productivity. If you are able to use new technology, that will help us to increase the productivity. Right. Use the latest technology to improve productivity. Then minimize overhead cost. There is another way you can do this. If you are able to reduce the overhead cost, that will also help to reduce the total cost. Then another one is favorable access to sources of supply. Favorable access to sources of supply. So, if you can get the required raw material at very low cost, right, then that will help you to reduce the cost. Then relocate operation to a cheaper area. So, if you can relocate the operation into a cheap area, for example, third world countries where you can obtain labor at low cost, that will help you to reduce the cost. That is why many multinationals are operating in third world countries. Then another option is to use IT, use of IT, right. Using IT system can reduce operating cost and improve management information. That is another way you can reduce the costs. Right, here we talk about economic of scale also. Since economics of scale have been mentioned, I am sure you have learned this one in economics. So, normally economic of scale deal with the capacity utilizations. So, when you are operating at a higher capacity level, that automatically help you to reduce the costs. That is called economic of scales. For example, capacity utilizations, if I take an example to illustrate this further, say we are producing at 10,000 unit, you will say cost of the material is 10,000 here, average cost per unit is 10, 2000 unit, say here 19,500. Now average cost per unit has been reduced. Now see, average cost per unit has been reduced. This economic of scale enjoy with the capacity utilization. When you are operating at a higher capacity level, you are in a position to enjoy some cost savings. So how can you obtain economic of scales? There are three ways of obtaining this. First one is more efficient operating practices. For example, using large and more efficient machine and equipment. Then second one, greater use of specialized labor and specialized equipment. For example, employees are more specialized in the jobs that help to get more result from them. Then third one, spreading fixed cost over a large volume of outputs. Right. So, what are the different way of differentiating product or service in the marketplace? One is product design. In there you try to offer special features which can't be found from the other players in the marketplace. For example, quality, style, these are some of the points you can incorporate when you are looking about special features, right. So, this is very common strategy applied by many people. Sometimes, for example, Apple, no, what about the specialty of Apple? There are certain features which can't be found from other fonts, no. That is one. Then another one is brand image. Yes. Through the brand image, you differentiate your product from other product in the marketplace. Generic brands, you differentiate your brand from the other brands and generic brand in the marketplace. That is done through the marketing. In fact, sometimes your product may not be high quality compared with the others, but through advertisement you have created that particular image. That is another way of differentiating. Then advertising, right? Through advertising you try to differentiate your product from the other product in the marketplace. Distributions, in distribution method, through you try to differentiate your product. For example, online distributions, online purchasing and the distribution, others do not have, but you try to introduce that one to the marketplace, right. Right, now we are looking about the internal factors required to apply differentiation strategy. Now you know what is differentiation strategy, right. Earlier we discussed internal factor required to apply cost leadership strategy. Here we are discussing internal factors required to apply differentiation strategy. So what are the internal factors required to apply differentiation strategy? Right, there are three factors which can be used to apply differentiation strategy. One is access to leading scientific research. Why? So to make your product unique, you need to find new things. New thing can be found through scientific research. So that is one of the things you should have. Organization like Apple, they have huge research units. So many people are working in there. Then a highly skilled and creative product development team. You should have a good team for product development. They should be very creative and skillful. Then you should have a strong sales team. They are able to successfully communicate the perceived benefit of the products. Sales guys are important. They can create image of the products, right. So those are the three important factors required. So with that we can complete Porter's generic strategies, and we can move to the strategy called Bowman strategy clock. The Bowman introduced this particular model, strategy clock. Right, this is similar to Michael Porter's generic strategies, but right, this has identified more option for an organizations. You have to read this one clockwise. You know how clock rotate. Accordingly, you have to read this one. Here actually we try to identify competitive strategies based on the price and the value. In relation to price, we can identify three options. Price can be low, medium or high. That is normally identified in x-axis. Then y-axis we identify the perceived added value, perceived as added value, අපේක්ෂිත කියන එක perceived, උපකල්පනය කරන ලද added value කියන එක perceived added value, how much the value customer needed from the product. In there also we identify three options, low, medium and the high. Then in relation to price there are three options, in relation to perceived added value there are three options. When you combine this, how many options we can identify? 3 into 3, 9, no? Yes, but middle one we ignore. So here we can identify 8 options. 8 options. So if you look at about the 8 options, no pill strategy. No pill strategy mean in their price is relatively low, at the same time perceived added value is also low. That is no pill strategy. Later I will come back with some example. Then low price strategy. Here price is low, perceived added value is at the medium level. Hybrid strategy is fantastic strategy, hybrid. Debohung, price is low, perceived added value is high. Differentiations, price is medium, perceived added value is high. Focus differentiations, perceived added value is high, price is also high. 6, 7, 8 have not been named. He identified them as failure strategies. 6, 7, 8. Is it fair to identify them as failure strategies? We look at strategy number 6, where we are offering a medium level added value product, for example, medium quality product at a higher price. Are you willing to pay a higher price to buy a medium quality product? That may not be feasible, no, in practice. Yes. Strategic option number 7, look at that options. Perceived added value is very low, for example, low quality products, but price is very high. No one is willing to buy, product at a higher price, but where the value is very low. It also similar, perceived added value is low, but price is medium. Therefore, Bowman identifies 6, 7, 8 option as failure strategies, not feasible in the marketplace. So, we will look at about the other 5 strategies in details. First of all, we will look at the no fill strategy. If you look at the no fill strategy, in there price is low, at the same time the perceived added value is also low. This is normally suitable for very price conscious market. So, it is also suitable for market where little opportunity for competition is available. Normally, this is a strategy which can be used for market entry purpose. So, you just try to enter to a particular market by offering a product at a very low price, but the value aspect is very low. For example, quality is very low, right. Many people access to the market by using this strategy. For example, one of the example for no-fill strategy is budget airlines. Budget airlines normally offer good at a very low price. The value given by them is so very low. Right. Low price strategy here. Now see, if you go to the model, now here see more perceived added value is given from the product compared to the no-fill strategy, but the price is low. This is more mass market based strategy. No-fill is more suitable for small marketplace, niche marketplace, but low price is more appropriate for a broader market. Customer in a broad market normally want to buy a product at low price, but at the same time they expect at least a certain level of quality. So, in this strategy you try to offer better value than the competitors, right, but offer at the lower price. This is similar to the Porter's cost leadership strategy. This is more appropriate for the mass market. For example, Maruti car is an example for low price strategy. Hybrid strategy, Debohung strategy. A firm pursuing a hybrid strategy seeks both differentiation and lower price than its competitors. So, here we try to acquire 2 things. One is uniqueness at best level, price also at the lowest level, but very difficult to do this, not easy, right, to do this. This is a fantastic strategy if you can apply this, because customers always accept this type of strategy, right. So, normally if you have enough cash, if you can use that cash for research and development purpose, through that you can make the product unique. For example, organization like IKEA. IKEA is the world #1 furniture shop. They use hybrid strategy. They try to offer high quality furniture product at low price. Broad differentiation strategy. India, you are trying to offer the highest value from the products. If you go to the model, it's clear. See here, perceived added value is high at the highest level. Perceived added value is at the highest level, but price is at the medium level. So this can be achieved in different way. One is you offer the product at a higher price, that means you are enjoying price premium. Or other option is you can charge the same price by the competitors. This is more similar to the broad differentiation strategy of the Michael Porter. If you try to match those two strategies. Then the next one is focus differentiation strategy. If you go to focus differentiation strategy, here the perceived added value is very high. At the same time, price is also very high. Under focus differentiation strategy, you are trying to charge a price premium from the customers for the high value given from the product. This is more suitable for a niche. In other words, for a small marketplace, this is very suitable. For the product, you can charge a premium price. Organization like Odell, Hamidia, right? If you look at about them, they apply this focus differentiation strategy. What they do is they serve in a selected marketplace where they offer a high quality product, but the prices is also relatively high. So with that we can complete Bowman and we can move to the ANSOP product market strategy. So ANSOP try to identify 4 strategies based on 2 criteria. That is based on the product and the market. Product you offer and the market you operate. So 4 strategies were identified by the ANSOPs. What are the 4 strategies identified by the ANSOP? We look at about the model. So if you look at the products, product can be existing one or new one. So in relation to product, actually we identify 2 options: offer the existing product or offer a new product. In relation to the market also we identify 2 options: existing market or a new markets. Based on that, ANSOP identify 4 strategies. If you are trying to succeed within the existing marketplace with the existing product, he identify that strategy as market penetration strategy. Market penetration strategy. Market penetration strategy. In other words, වෙළඳපොළ උකහා ගැනීම කියන එක සිංහලෙන් නම්, right, market penetration strategy. So if you try to go to a new marketplace with the existing product, that is called market development strategy. Market development strategy. For example, up to now you operate only in Sri Lanka and you go to Indian market. That is a market development strategy. Or you offer new product to the existing marketplace. That is called product development strategy. Product development strategy. If you go to a new marketplace with a new product, that is called diversification strategy. Diversification strategy. For example, you go out of Sri Lankan market and go to a new geographical marketplace. In that particular marketplace, you offer a new product also. Diversification is the most risky strategy compared to the other strategies. Why? Product is new, at the same time market is also new. Now here if you look at this lunch, right, he expanded this model little bit more, right, ENSOP model. He identified additional strategies to these 4 strategies. For example, withdrawal, demerger, privatization strategy also identified by the lunch, right. So I think it's clear for you. Withdrawal mean divest the investment, no. Demerger mean if you have a merge at present, you right break the relationship. For example, suppose you merge with another party, we will say AB company. Initially there were 2 companies called A and B. Now AB company is there, you decide to demerge, that means A separated, B separated. Privatization, you know that, no, that is applicable for the government organizations. Government owned organization is sold to the private people, right. So we will look at about each options. First of all, we look at the market penetration strategy. So market penetration, if you look at the market penetration strategy, India, what we try to do? If you look at the market penetration strategy, India, we are in the present market with the present product and we try to achieve the success. So what are the things you are trying to do under market penetrations? Here actually you mainly try to maintain or increase your share in the existing market. For an example, you advertise heavily. Through advertising, you try to persuade customer to buy your products, right. So that is market penetration. Then we will say, for example, your market share earlier 20%, now through advertisement and competitive pricing and sales promotion method, right, you get more demand, you increase the market share to 25%. That is one of the way you try to apply the market penetration strategy. Then another one is secure dominance of growth market. If you are in a growth market, you try to ensure that you dominate in that particular market. They restructure mature market by driving out competitors. In a mature market, you try to maintain the market share by driving out competitors. You heavily compete with others. For example, you advertise heavily, right, the market is mature now, but right, still you want to remain that market, then others can't do anything, they leave. Or another option of maintaining or increasing your market share is to increase usage of existing customers. Right, for example, Signal asks you to brush twice a day, no. So increase usage of the customers, right. In the future they may say 3 times a day. Again what they try to do, increase the usage of the existing customers, right. Right. Then consolidation, what is this consolidation? That is connected with the first strategy, is market penetrations. So consolidation refers to the mergers and acquisition of many smaller companies into much larger one for economic benefit. To consolidate is to seek to maintain current market share. Consolidated කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? මෙතනදී අපි අපේ කම්පැනිය එක තවත් අය acquire කරගන්න එක හරිය නැත්නම් merge වෙන එක හරිය කරනවා. ඒ හරහා මොකද වෙන්නේ? අපි පොඩියට තියෙන එක අපි ලොකු කරගන්නවා. So we become a big one, right? So through that we try to maintain the market share through the consolidations. This may be an appropriate strategy when the firm is already the market leader. For a market leader, this is more appropriate. But in certain industries, actually there are some regulations, you are not allowed to acquire some other companies in your industry, right. Then the second strategy, market development. Market development. So India, what we try to do? We try to go to a new marketplace with the existing products, right. So this can be done in many ways. When we say market development, many people think geographically going to a new marketplace. No, not only the geographical options, there are some more options. Look at the options you have. A, new geographical areas and export markets, that is obvious, no. For example, at present you operate in Sri Lankan market, you go to Indian markets. Then another option is different package sizes, right. For example, suppose up to now you have 100 gram biscuit packet, you come up with 20 gram biscuit packet. The people who don't have much money to buy 100 gram, then buy 20 gram. There are many people, no, who are struggling, right, these days very common actually. People are struggling in economic aspects, but still they want to buy some small packet of biscuit and give to their kids. They may not eat, right. In that scenario, we will say 20 gram packet may be ideal one. So now see different package size that help you to create a new marketplace. Earlier they didn't buy the product from you. The new distribution channel to attract new customers, right. For example, there are certain rural areas which have not been covered earlier. You add new distribution channel, through that you capture new customer group. Then the differential pricing policies, for example, different pricing policy for local and foreigners. Locals charge low price, foreigners charge higher price, right. So another options. The next option, option number 3, product development. So here what we are trying to do, we are trying to offer a new product to the existing marketplace. It's a fantastic strategy, no, right. So this has several advantages. What are the advantages you can get from this strategy? The company can exploit its existing marketing arrangements such as promotional methods and distribution channel at low cost. So you can use already existed right marketing arrangement like distribution. For example, if you are using a distribution lorry to deliver your good, there may be some space inside of the lorry. Now you can use that space to deliver the new products. At the same time, you are offering the good to the existing market. You have a good idea about the customers, right? Therefore, you can exactly meet such customer group needs. Then competitor will be forced to response. When you have done this type of thing, competitors want to respond for their survival. Then not easy for others to enter the market since you have so many products in the market. This strategy is normally riskier than both market penetration and or the other strategy, right? Market penetration and the market development strategy, right? Market penetration and the market development strategy, this is more riskier. Then the fourth one is diversification strategy. Diversification strategy. So diversification occurs when a company decides to make new product for new markets. This is the most risky strategy, no, right? Here we go to new marketplaces and new products. So what are the expectations of applying this strategy in the marketplace? There are two expectations of applying this marketplace. One is achieve growth for the organizations. From the existing product mix, right, you can't achieve further growth. Therefore, you decide to go to a new marketplace with new products. Another option is investing past funds, which is not required for other expansion needs, right. So you have enough money. So you try to apply, you are trying to spend that money through this strategy. This is more risky strategy. Earlier also I mentioned that point, right. Therefore, you have to be very careful, right. If you look at the diversification strategy, there are a few options regarding the diversification strategy. So diversification can be two form. diversification can be related diversifications or unrelated diversifications, related to unrelated. Within the related diversifications, we can find two options. Two options mean horizontal integrations or vertical integrations or vertical integrations. So, the related mean, so you try to diversify your business activity into related industry, not going out of your industry totally, right. Unrelated mean there is no relationship at all, you are completely going to different industry, right. In related diversification, we can find two options, horizontal integration and the vertical integration. Here horizontal integration mean in there, so we try to involve in activity which is competitive or complementary, competitive or complementary. Competitive mean, for example, say you acquire another company in the industry, that is an example for horizontal integration. Competitive. Complementary mean, for example, up to now you make tires but did not make tubes, you started to make tubes also, that is complementary business, right, that is horizontal integrations. Then vertical integrations, under the vertical integration actually we can identify two options, vertical integration we can identify two options, forward integrations, other one is backward integrations, forward integration and the backward integrations, right. So, here if you try to perform the work of the distributor, that is an example for forward integrations. Here I assume you are a manufacturer, right. If you try to do the work of the supplier, that is an example of backward integrations. Within your supply chain, if you go forward, that is an example for forward integration. If you go backward, that is an example for backward integrations. For an example, if you are a manufacturer, if you started to produce the raw material also, earlier suppose you purchase the raw material from a supplier, now you started to do that work, that is an example for backward integrations. Earlier there was a distributor, you sell the product through him, now you decided to do the work of the distribution also, you buy certain lorries and you start to distribute, that is an example for forward integrations. That is clear for you. Now, what is unrelated diversifications, right? So, unrelated diversification produce the type of company known as conglomerate, this result in conglomerate. So, you are in different industries, right, that is called conglomerate. So, in there what we normally do, we try to add new unrelated product lines and penetrations, new products, right. For example, you say up to now, right, so you have your company is a hotel, you start a bank, right, complete different industry, you are going to complete different industry, that is an example for unrelated diversifications, right. Then with that we will move to the next one, blue ocean and red ocean strategy. Blue ocean and red ocean strategy. Now, here we identify two types of oceans, blue oceans and the red oceans. Here ocean mean the markets. Here ocean mean the market. Here blue mean new markets, red mean existing market. Here blue mean the new market, red mean the existing market. Strategy apply in the existing marketplace, right, that is called red ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy. Strategy apply in the blue ocean market, that is called blue ocean strategy. Right. So, we will look at about the meaning of them. What is blue ocean here? Now, normally if you look at about the ocean actually, forgetting about these technical terms, normally what is the common ocean? Blue or red? Normally blue ocean is common, no? Red is uncommon, no? Right? But here other way, normally in practice blue ocean strategy is uncommon in the marketplace. Less people apply. Red ocean is common in marketplace, many people apply. So, what is blue ocean strategy? So, blue ocean strategy is a strategy that involves finding innovative ways of creating value for the organization and its customers by finding undiscovered industries or market. This is innovation. This blue ocean strategy emphasizes on innovation. By making new products, you try to cover undiscovered industries or markets. Organizations like Apple, right, or organization like Facebook, all have applied blue ocean strategy. Facebook is a fantastic example. Look at the Facebook, right, so there were no similar thing in the world, no. They came up with the innovations and they completely changed the world, right. So, what is red ocean strategy? Red ocean strategy is a strategy of competing in known and existing market. This is nothing new. You compete with the existing marketplace with the existing products. Many people do that, no, they are not making innovations, they compete with the existing marketplace with their existing product, they head to head compete with others, right. So, what is the difference between these two, blue ocean and the red oceans? Under the blue ocean strategy, we focus on existing customers, sorry, in other way, right, these two should be changed. That should be changed, right. The first one should be actually red ocean, second one should be blue ocean. Red ocean strategy, because red ocean strategy focused on existing customers. We are not trying to do anything new, we are covering the same customer group. But blue ocean strategy focused on non-customers. So, we are trying to capture new customers under the blue ocean strategy. Then if you look at the red ocean strategy, we compete in the existing market, but in blue ocean we create uncontested market to serve. In red ocean we try to beat the competition, but blue ocean we try to make the competition irrelevant. Red ocean our objective to exploit existing demand, but blue ocean our objective to create and capture new demand. There are so many examples on this. For example, in the world context, if I try more example, what about Tesla? So, Tesla is completely changed the whole car industry. Tesla apply blue ocean strategy. They came up with electronic cars, more right, very speedy new electronic cars, and they completely change the market, right. Example for blue ocean example. So, value innovation and value innovation in blue ocean. Here value innovation mean in India what we try to do, two things actually. Value innovations, while we are reducing cost, we try to add more value to the customers. Two things, more value plus cost reductions. So, normally how we can do this one, you try to get some cost savings through increase in sales. At the same time, customer will get more innovative and superior products. I think this is very clear for you. Look at this one. You try to reduce cost, at the same time you try to increase the value to the customer. That is called value innovations. You are trying to do parallelly both things, cost reduction and the value increase. Actually, there are 4 ways of doing this. Blue ocean can be used in 4 ways. One is reduce. You can check what are the factors you offer more than the requirement. Right? If those are not required from the customer point of view, then you can reduce that one, because that will help you to reduce the costs actually. Right? Then create. You can think about the factors which have not been offered by anyone else earlier. New additions, right? Creating, adding. Raise mean, so at the moment you offer something in the industry level, you try to increase what you are offering now to the customers. Then eliminate, the things which are not required should be eliminated. There are 4 strategies. Reduce, අඩු කරනවා කියන එක නේ, ක්‍රියේට් කියන අලුතෙන් නිර්මාණය කරනවා කියන රේස් කියන්නේ වැඩි කරනවා කියන එක, එලිමිනේට් කරලා කියන්නේ අයින් කරනවා කියන එක. We look at about these 4 strategies. When you reduce something, that will help you to reduce the cost. When you eliminate, also help you to reduce the cost. When you raise and create things, that will help you to increase the value. So, with that we can complete comparative strategies. Under that we cover 4 tools: Porter's generic strategies, Bowman's strategic clock. Then we discuss about ANSOP. Then we discuss about blue ocean and red ocean strategies. Right. Now, topic number 5. Look at topic number 5, competitive strategies based on market position. Competitive strategies based on market positions. This is an alternative method. This is an alternative method of selecting a business strategy is to decide how to position the organization product in the market in terms of how customers think of the product and compare it with rival products. Here we focused on positioning our product in terms of how customer think of the product and compare it with rival product. By comparing with the rival product, how we can position our products. This positioning strategy is based on understanding the market and customers and influencing customer perception of the company's products. So, it depends on the understanding of the market and the customers and influencing about the perception of the company's product in the customer's mind. Right. Strategic behavior and competitive market game theory. So, very difficult one to understand game theory, right, within short period of time. So, we have been given limited time. So, right, this is a summary version of coverage of the syllabus. It's not an easy task to explain theory like game theory. Normally I have to spend at least 4 to 5 hours to give the knowledge on game theory. Right. Anyway, we will try to understand this. What is game theory? So, under the game theory, look at this game theory. Game theory is a term for an approach to the study of optimal decisions, taking into account the decision of competitors who are other players in the game. Game. You know what is game, no? In the office environment, you may have found, no? There are many people who are good at doing games, no? Right? Here we talk about similar game. If you look at the marketplace, a game. Game mean competition is there, no? The marketplace, there are different players, they compete each other and try to acquire the market share. So, under game theory, it say when you are identifying a strategy for the organizations, you have to look at about what others do. You have to look at about the decision of the competitors, and accordingly you make the best decision. You take the optimum decision by looking about what competitors are doing in the marketplace. If I take very simple example, we will say there are 3 players in the market, A, B, C. Suppose you are A, right? You are A, right? You look at about B and C, right? You are looking about B and C. B is trying to apply the broad cost leadership strategy in the marketplace. C is trying to applying the focus strategy, right? C is trying to apply the focus strategy. I took ABC example. So B is applying cost leadership strategy, C is applying focus strategy, right? Now you think about the decision is taken by B and C, accordingly you are going to take decision. Now if you try to apply the cost leadership in the marketplace or focus strategy, that clash with the other 2 strategies, no, right? Then what will happen, there may be customer who want to buy a product at low price in the mass market, right? From that group, some of the customer may be buy A product and the B's product, A also apply the B strategy, no. In there A what do is, A look at about B and C's decision, accordingly A try to apply the broad differentiation strategy. Now that is not applied by any other player, so that will help A to achieve the success in the marketplace, right? පුංචි කතාවක් ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් තමන්ගේ ගේ එහා පැත්තේ ආප්ප කඩයක් දාලා දිනනවා නම් එහෙම තමනුත් ආප්ප කඩයක් දාගත්තොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? අන්තිමේදී ආප්ප කඩේට එන කස්ටමර්ස් ටික දෙන්නට බෙදෙන එක විතර වෙයි වෙන්නේ. තමන් ඉන්දියාප්ප කඩයක් දාගත්තොත් එහෙම අරයා මොකද්ද කරන දේ දිහා බලලා තමන් තීරණය කරනවා තමන් මේ වැඩේ කරන්නේ නැහැ තමන් ඉන්දියාප්ප කඩයක් දාගන්නවා කියලා. ඒතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ හරහා තමන්ට පුළුවන් වාසියක් ගන්න. I think it's clear for you, right? Right. So there are 2 strategic options. There are 2 strategic options. What are the 2 strategic options? A dominant strategy and dominated strategy. A dominant strategy and the dominated strategy. What is dominant strategy? A dominant strategy is a strategy that is better for an organization than any other alternative strategy, no matter how competitors respond. This is the best strategy you can have in the marketplace. Dominated strategy means the alternative strategy that should not be selected because there is a better dominant strategy that can be chosen. Dominated strategy should not be selected. Why you should not select dominated strategy? Because there is a better dominant strategy in the marketplace. So always advisable to select that the best strategy in the marketplace. If I take an example to illustrate this matter, right? Suppose there is a player called A. A has 2 options to apply in the marketplace. One is to apply cost leadership strategy, other one is to apply differentiation strategy. 2 options are there to apply either cost leadership or differentiation strategy. Here, right, if you apply cost leadership strategy, suppose you can earn 1000 rupees, right, we say profit. By applying differentiation strategy, you can earn 1200 rupees. If you look at about these 2 examples, in relation to the A, what is the best strategy they can apply in the marketplace? The best strategy they can apply in the marketplace is differentiation strategy, since A can get 1200 profit. 1200 profit. Therefore, right, this can be identified as right, what strategy in this scenario? This can be identified as dominant strategy. Dominant strategy, the best strategy, right, you can identify. In this scenario, cost leadership is the dominated strategy. Dominated strategy, right. So normally dominant strategy should not be selected. Now why it should not be selected? Because there is a better dominant strategy in the marketplace. No, that's the reason. If you look at this example, it's clear, no? If you look at the example, actually differentiation strategy you can earn more, no? Therefore, cost leadership is a dominated strategy. Right. What is Nash equilibrium? Another difficult thing to understand, right? So we look at about Nash equilibrium. You know what is equilibrium? That is samatulitaya කියන එක නේ. Nash equilibrium. A situation identified in game theory where no player in the game has an incentive to deviate from their chosen strategy after considering the opponent choice. Right? Nash equilibrium. A situation identified in game theory where no player in the game has an incentive to deviate from their chosen strategy after considering the opponent choice. Nash equilibrium mean actually here, now suppose there are 3 players in the marketplace, everyone has identified a different strategy and they are doing well. So in the Nash equilibrium point, no one want to deviate from their existing strategy because they have identified the best strategy for each one. If one try to deviate from the existing strategy, then no one will get benefit, right? The basic idea is that the outcome from a strategy choice cannot be predicted if it is considered in isolations. It is necessary to ask what each competitor would do taking into account the strategy choices of all the other competitors. So normally when you are taking decision, you have to think about what others are going to do, right, when you take some particular decisions. An equilibrium strategy is one where none of the competitor can benefit by changing their strategy as long as the other competitor keep their strategies unchanged. It therefore represents the strategy that will be selected by each competitor. Right, what is that? So an equilibrium strategy is one where none of the competitor can benefit. At this particular point, if one try to deviate from their strategy, right, then no one will get benefit. Therefore, it's better to keep the existing strategy. Right. So I will take more example to illustrate this matter, Nash equilibrium. Right, suppose at present there are 3 players A, B, C in the market. A apply cost leadership strategy, B apply differentiation strategy, C apply focus strategy. Suppose A is able to sell 50 unit, B is 50 unit, C is 25 unit. Right. Now, if A, right, now A look at about the B, A think B is doing well, right. So, I want to change my strategy, right, I want to offer high quality product and want to capture more customers. If that happen, what will happen, right? Now, he will lose this market 25 unit, and then B also lose some amount 25 unit, right. Now what will happen? Now A thought better to apply differentiation strategy. Now only a limited customers want to quality product. Now the customer base is divided between the B and the A. Then both lose from this strategy, right. Now each one has adopted the best strategy by looking about each part, you know. Therefore, in this situation, it's a Nash equilibrium point. So, all 3 are doing well by identifying their own strategy, right. So, all are, right, happy here, right, because they have a different marketplace and they offer different product and they enjoy the profit. If one guy try to deviate from their existing strategy, then no one will get the benefit. That will happen. අර මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා ගත්ත උදාහරණයක් ගත්තොත් දැන් එතන ඉන්දියාප්ප ගෙවල් තුනක් තියෙනවා ළඟ එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්දියාප්ප තම්බනවා තව එක්කෙනෙක් ආප්ප හදනවා තව එක්කෙනෙක් බත් කඩයක් අරන් යනවා. එතකොට ආප්ප කඩේ මිනිස්සයා බලනවා ඉන්දියාප්ප වැඩිපුර යනවා වගේ පේනවා ආප්ප දාලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ ඉන්දියාප්ප දාන්න පටන් ගත්තොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ අර ආප්ප කන්න ඕන මිනිස්සු වෙන කොහේ හරි යනවා මිසක් ඒ තැනින් දාලා යනවානේ දැන් තුන්දෙනාම ඇවිල්ලා හොඳ තත්ත්වයක ඉන්නේ තුන්දෙනාම සමහර දවසට උදාහරණ එක දවසක මිනිස්සු ආප්ප කනවා එක දවසක ඉන්දියාප්ප කනවා එතකොට තුන්දෙනාම බෙනිෆිට් මේ ඉන්න සිටුේෂන් එකේ ඒක තමයි Nash equilibrium point එක විදිහට අඳුරගන්න I hope you understood right right within this limited time we have right right then topic number 8 the link between strategy and culture so what is the link between these two right normally if you try to apply a new strategy in the organization right, to accept that particular strategy that should be in line with the existing culture very simple theory so if your strategy is not in line with the existing culture right then the culture will resist culture will not accept your strategy right so if a strategy is going to be accepted by the employees and management of the organization it must be in alignment with the culture of the organization otherwise it is unlikely to succeed බොහොම පැහැදිලි නේ ස්ට්‍රැටජි අනිවාර්යෙන් දැන්ට දින සංස්කෘතියට ගැලපෙන එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ සංස්කෘතිය විසින් මේ කල්චර් එක පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ they will not accept the right strategy you have proposed it's not easy to change the culture of the organization in the short run right with that we can complete strategy formulation part and we can move to the evaluation part evaluation of strategies part now we look at about the relationship between these two now in practice under the strategy formulations when you are doing the strategy formulations you may identify so many strategic options say for example A, B, C, D, E, F, you have identified so many strategic options. Now the purpose of evaluation of strategy is to identify the most appropriate strategic option for the organizations. Now here what you will do is you will evaluate these A, B, C, D, E, F options right and identify the most appropriate strategic options. For example right say after the evaluation you may identify B as the best strategy and other strategy will not be implemented B will be implemented in the marketplace. To evaluate the strategies right we can use two main tools one is 7S model other one is SAF model 7S and the SAF model right two model have been given in the syllabus right when strategy choices have been identified and consider choice is made about which strategy or strategies to select I explained that point for you now from the strategy coordinator you have to identify the what is the best strategy or strategies to select. Then how you can do that one the strategy coordinator should be evaluated and the preferred choice recommended for implementation these strategy coordinator should be evaluated from that you identify the best strategy. So 7S model is one of the strategy we can use later we can identify the SAF model right. If you look at about these two model very popular model and very right popular from the exam point of view also. Examiner has tested these two model right, from time to time. Therefore, you should have a thorough understanding of these two models, right. So, first of all, we will look at about the 7S model. Here we talk about 7 elements which start from each element start from the S letter. That is why it is called 7S model. We are talking about 7 elements each start from the S letter, right. So, what are the 7 elements we can identify? Structure, strategy, system, then staff, then skills, style, then shared values. So, there are 7 elements here, right. If you look at a model, this can be drawn in different way. Normally, the shared value is identified in the middle, shared values. Structure, strategy, system, staff, skills, style, I think one is mono, right. Staff, skills, style, right. This was introduced by McKinsey actually. McKinsey introduced this model. These 7 elements he divide into two main group, hard element and the soft element. He divide them into two main group, hard element and the soft element. Here hard being element which can be easily identify and define, right. So, if you can identify a particular element easily, right, and define it, then we identify them as hard element. These first 3 normally can be easily identified and defined. They are normally tangible in nature. Because soft elements are very difficult to identify and define. It. At the same time, they are intangible in nature also. Right. Accordingly, there are three hard elements: structure, strategy and system, and four soft elements: staff, skills, style and the shared value. Normally shared value is considered as the most important element. Later I will explain the reason behind that. That is why in the model that is identified in the middle, right. So, we look at about each element. First of all, we look at the structure. What is structure? So, structure means the organized structure. So, what type of structure you can see in the organizations? For example, it can be a functional structure, right. It can be divisional structure, right. So, this was identified as a hard element. Why this was identified as a hard element? So, normally you can identify what type of structure you have. For example, you know who is at the top, CEO, then you know what are the division in the organizations, who can be found in each divisions, right, relationship can be found, right. The strategy mean, you know what is strategy now, the same thing here we are looking about, right. So, a course of action designed by the organization to achieve a competitive advantage. In other words, the way in which the organization plan to outperform its competitors or how it intended to achieve its objectives. Is it cost leadership strategy? Is it diversification you are applying? Is it differentiations? Right? That can be also easily found. Then what is system? Systems are the procedures and processes for getting things done. These are the procedures and processes for getting things done. So, normally they include operation systems, IT system, accounting system, HR system and so on. You know what are the different procedures and processes in the organization. Example, it can be IT system, even internal control system, system like ERP, those are example for this. Then soft factors, soft factors are very difficult to identify and define and normally intangible in nature, right. So, what are the elements? There are four elements: staff, skill, style and the shared values. Staff, skill, style and the shared values. Staff mean the people in the organization. Employees who are working in the organization, normally we identify as staff. For example, how many people are there, what are the locations they operate, right. Then skills. Skill mean the things that organization does well. For example, customer service, right. Technology, you may have a better technology, those are example for the skills. Style mean ways of working and attitude and style of the management. This is mainly referred to the management style. For example, what is the leadership style applied by the management? Is it autocratic? Is it democratic? There is an example. Then shared value, I told this is the most important one. This is similar to the paradigm of an organizational culture, similar to the culture of the organizations. Shared value. So, shared values are the guiding belief of people in the organization about why it exits. These are the guiding belief of people in the organization about why it exits. So, this is the most important one. Culture is the number one factor in the organization. That is why I identify that one in the middle and normally that affected to all other elements. Then with that we can move to the next one. SAF model. SAF model. So, in there, right, we are trying to use three criteria to evaluate the identified strategic options. Three criteria are used to evaluate the identified strategic options. What are the three criteria? Suitability, acceptability, feasibility. Suitability, acceptability and feasibility. Right. So, we look at the meaning of each one. Here suitability relate to the logic of the strategy and how it fit in the organizational objective, resource and competences and strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Very simple. Suitability mean whether the proposed strategy match with the existing organizational requirement. Very simple. Whether proposed strategy match with the existing organizational requirement. Right. For example, whether it can fulfill the objective organization identify, whether it can use the resource and competences organization have, whether it can use the strength organization have, whether it can eliminate the weaknesses, whether it can exploit the opportunities, whether it can reduce the threat. Then acceptability, remember acceptability always linked with the stakeholders of the organizations, right. Whether the proposed strategy can fulfill the expectation of the stakeholders, that is considered under acceptability, right. If the proposed strategy is not fulfilling the expectation of a particular stakeholder group, in that scenario we have to dispose that particular proposal. Then feasibility, so feasibility refers to practicability and the capability of implementations. It must be practicable and capable of implementations. Sometimes you can see there are some nice strategy proposal, but in real environment you are not in a position to apply them. Right, we will look at about these each one in details also, right. First of all, we will look at about the suitability. Already I have explained that point to you. I told you under the suitability we are going to check whether the proposed strategy match with the existing organizational requirement. So, we look at about some of the areas to be considered here. One is to objectives, that is the number one thing you have to do, right. You have to check whether the proposed strategy is capable of fulfilling the objective. That should be the prime function of the strategy. If you remember our definition, earlier definition, I say strategy means a course of action designed to achieve a specific objective. See, within the definition itself, we emphasize the importance of the objective, right. So, strategy is mainly focusing on the fulfilling the objectives, no. Therefore, under suitability we will look at whether the proposed strategy is capable of achieve the objective of the organization, right. That is one of the things. So, if so, whether it is able to achieve 100% or less than that, right. If 100% or above, then you have to accept it, no. At the same time, we look at about whether it is matched with the existing mission and the objective of the organizations. Then competences, we will check whether the proposed strategy will use the existing core competences of the organizations, that means the strength of the organization. Now, you know what is core competences, right. Otherwise, right, it will not be valuable options. Weaknesses, we will check whether the proposed strategy is capable of eliminating the weaknesses of the organizations. Then opportunities, whether proposed strategy will help to exploit the opportunity you identify in the market. In other words, whether the proposed strategy is capitalizing the opportunities in the market. Then another important thing is competitive advantage. That is another prime job of the strategy. Strategy should deliver the competitive advantage for the organizations. You have to check whether the proposed strategy is capable of giving a competitive advantage to the organization, whether that particular advantage is short term or sustainable. We more prefer to have a sustainable competitive advantage. Then risk. Is the strategic risk consistent with the attitude to risks of senior management? You look at about the risks associated with the proposed strategy, whether it is within the risk appetite of the organizations. If it exceeds that one, that should not be accepted. Now, you know what is acceptability. Acceptability, under that we check whether the proposed strategy meet the expectation of the stakeholders. We will check different type of stakeholders here. We will try to cover the main stakeholder group and we will check whether their expectations are met from the proposed strategy. So, we will consider few stakeholder parties like shareholders, customers, management, staff, government and regulators and the general public. Right. From the shareholder point of view, what is the main objective of shareholder? They want to get a reasonable return for their investment. No? So, we have to check whether the proposed strategy will deliver a reasonable return for the shareholders. Then from the customer point of view, normally they want to get a better value from the organizations. We have to check whether the proposed strategy will deliver the value customers expected. If the proposed strategy is not delivering the value expected, customer will behave in a hostile way, no, right. So, for example, right, if you increase the price or reduce the product quality, then customer will not accept that particular strategy. Then management point of view, we have to check whether the proposed strategy is acceptable to management or whether they will resist the proposed strategy. From the staff point of view, right, you have to check whether the employee accept the proposed strategy. If they are not going to accept that one, they will leave the organization. For example, the system implementations. So, if that lead for many redundancies, then employee will not accept that particular strategy, right. Or another one is downsizing the organization activities. So, in that scenario, employee may not accept that particular strategy since they are going to lose their jobs. From the government point of view, they are more worried about the compliance with laws applicable for the business. You have to check whether the proposed strategy is not breaching the regulations. Then general public point of view, right, also we have to look at the applicability. So, you have to check whether the proposed strategy meet the expectation of the general public. Otherwise, there will be a strong public right hostility on that and you will not be able to implement that. Then feasibility, you know the meaning of feasibility. So, feasibility refers to the practicability and the capability of implementation of the proposed strategy. So, we can look at a few aspects under the feasibility also. What are the aspects we can look at? We can look at about resources, then ability, then competitive response and the time, right. So, we can look at 4 aspects actually. So, resources, under that aspect we will check whether we have the required resources to implement the strategy. If you do not have the required resources to implement the strategy, then it will not be successful one. No. Then ability, under that we will check whether the organization have the ability, skills, experience, competence and appropriate culture to implement the strategy successfully. Internally you have to check whether they have the skill. We will say ERP system, you have to check whether internally people have the required IT knowledge to work with the ERP system. If not, that will not be a successful strategy. Then competitive response, we will check whether right competitors will strongly act for such strategy. In that scenario, we have to check whether we can survive for a strong response from the competitors. Another element we have to look at about the time, whether we have enough time to implement the proposed strategy. Actually, then we have completed a safe criteria, the 3 main conditions. In addition that one, we can look at about the 4th variable also. The 4th variable is sustainability. Under sustainability, we are going to check whether the proposed strategy is capable of giving long term competitive advantage for the organizations. So, not only short term, we check whether the proposed strategy can deliver long term competitive advantage for the organizations. So, that is one of the consideration of the stakeholders also. That is clear for you, no? Normally there are 3 criteria: suitability, accessibility and feasibility. In addition to that one, you can look at about the 4th one also, that is sustainability, whether the proposed strategy can deliver long term competitive advantage to the organizations. If I illustrate that little bit more about that SAF model. So, here we look at about 3 tests. Suitability test. Normally suitability test is performed first. Suitability test, then accessibility test. Then the second test we normally perform accessibility test. Then the third one is feasibility test. Feasibility test, right. So, for example, say we have a proposed strategy A. First of all, we check whether it is suitable to the organization. If so, then we move to the next test. So, that is also okay. It is acceptable to the stakeholders. Say third one, say feasibility test. No, it is not practicable to apply strategy, then we have to reject it. Say B, okay, again feasibility is not there. Say 3, strategic option number 3. Now, here I assume only 3 strategic options are there. If you look at about this one, then so at the end of this process, we are going to select the strategy C. That is clear for you. So, with that we can complete topic number C also, sorry, topic number 6 also, formulating and evaluating strategy.